already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.
Hey now, this is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO, home of the Moto Mob where legends are made. You are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what to do. Press play.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Big Cell. You still keeping it 100.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this your man Kodak, the most hated, coming to you live from the Retro Philosophy Show, where I always listen to my man, 50 Grand, Pastor Retro. You know what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. It's your boy Retro. Let you know that registration for Mission 448 is open. You can register today and ride the four corners of your state or multiple states. Who's going to be the first to collect the four corners of each of the lower 48 states? Hashtag Who's Got Next. Register today and ride the four corners of your state.
Retro, what's up, man? It's your guy Lavish coming in from the Motor City, Detroit, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep up the good work. I'm watching the channel. I'm watching it grow. Everybody out there, man, if you listening, man, show this brother some love. Go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe to his channel.
I don't mean to brag, but my videos are enjoyed by well over 4 people worldwide.
I gotta say it all I gotta say. A lot of people like to hold back, but I don't hold back nothing. I take just like it is.
Yes, indeed. What's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? You already know it. It's your boy Retro. You know what it is. It's your boy Retro with you on today. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it because God has been better to me than I've been to myself, and he's been way better to me than you could ever be. And I'm just really grateful. I've had my ups and my downs like everybody else, but my good days truly do outweigh my bad days. It's perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Where it's bad, it could be a whole lot worse. So when I really just think about the goodness of God in the land of the living, I'm just grateful, man. We're excited tonight. We're not going to belabor the time, as we would say in the sanctified church, but we are honored and excited to have with us on tonight. She's no stranger to the Retro Philosophy Show. I've been following this young lady for quite some time now, and I'm really extremely proud of her, man. To see the things that she's doing, it's just it's I'm telling you, it's real. It's real refreshing, is what it is, man, to see our people doing big things. So check her out.
We have a community that we have to take care of. We have kids that are depending on us. I call them my scholars. I call them my future leaders because that's what they are. And I let them know, don't forget about where you were raised. Be proud of where you come from and give back. It seems more family in Riverview Gardens. It would just be wonderful to get some people to get some of those jobs and help us get these scholars where they need to be. There's a new view on the horizon where learning is required.
I love it. Learning is required. You got to be a student every day, man. I had this gentleman tell me many years ago, forget what you think you know and learn what you don't. Learning, ladies and gentlemen, is required. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and hop into the show on today. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the one and only Most Wanted is in the building. What's going on? Let's make some proper noise. Oh, man, I don't even know where to start, man, but we going to get started. That's what we going to do. So go ahead and, this is not your first time here and you're no stranger to the Retro Philosophy Show. We appreciate you for your support. But go ahead and introduce yourself for those who may not know who you are on today.
Oh, okay. I am Most Wanted. I am from St. Louis, Missouri / Illinois area. Mm-hmm. I am the vice president of the STL Hog Sisters out of St. Louis, Missouri.
Nice. Let's get some noise for the Hog Sisters.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. And so motorcycles. What does that mean to you? How long you been riding motorcycles? Why you ride?
I started riding March of 2017.
Okay.
And my brother used to take me riding on his Goldwing when I was a little girl. So I always did things trying to be like my brother.
Okay.
Even though I'm the youngest of 7, 5 girls, 2 boys.
Okay.
But he was just that big brother, you know. So I said when I became an adult, that's what I was going to do. You know, it just felt good.
Yeah.
And so then the kids came and all that. And when they left home, I got the first bike.
now, how many kids does Most Wanted have?
I have 1 daughter and 1 son.
Okay.
I have twin granddaughters.
Nice.
And, 1 grandson that's getting ready to go to college, full ride scholarship to college.
Nice. Let's make some noise for that.
Yeah.
Has he already chosen where he's going to go?
Yes, he will be going to Ohio Dominican University.
Okay.
In Columbus, Ohio.
Nice. Since we're talking about that, he's got a full ride. That's beautiful. What is education, in your opinion? Why is it important? Let's talk a little bit about what it means to you.
It's like Malcolm said, you know, your education, your knowledge is the passport to your future. You know, you have to learn. To me, you learn something new every day, or you should.
Yeah.
You always seek that knowledge, and it's important that we get that knowledge to continue giving it to our offsprings and our offspring's offspring. You know, because with the way that they're changing things in the school system and the books. You know, if we don't continue to give our history to our children, it's going to be lost. So education is very important.
Yeah, I also agree with you on that, sis. And that's why, you know, I always give respect and accolades and kudos and all that stuff to the educators, you know. And I was just having this conversation with a teacher just the other day. There's a difference between a teacher that goes to work for a paycheck and a teacher that goes to work because she has a passion for it, or he, for that matter. Yeah.
Right.
How important is it? How important is it for kids that look like us to see teachers that look like them?
It's very important. I mean, look at who their first teachers are, their parents. And then they're taken away from their home to go to school, and they don't see people that look like them. So if they see more of us, then it's not to say that, you know, they can't get an education from, you know, them, but it's a different type. And it's a different feeling when you get it from your own.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just really important, you know. They find as role models, you know, they are sometimes more willing to learn from, you know, having a black teacher, you know what I'm saying? But it's not always the case. I'm not saying that.
Right.
You know, it's just, you know, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's just really different.
Yeah.
And what you were saying about, you know, the pay, the pay is already, you know, not the greatest, but you can't want to be a teacher and be a teacher for the pay.
Right.
It has to, you know, it has to come from within, you know. For me, that's what it is, you know. I tried to leave. I let someone steer me and tell me at one point that they didn't like my teaching style. And I thought, oh, I must be a horrible teacher. And I stepped back from teaching for a year.
Okay.
And I had interviews, but things weren't going right. But as soon as I went back to a school and applied, it was like I never missed a beat. They gave me the job right away. And I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where, excuse me, but this is where God wants me to be. I'm a humble servant, and I'm going to do whatever he's leading me to do. And so that's how I look at my career as a teacher.
Wow, wow, wow.
Assistant principal now.
And congratulations, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
have seen the pride you take in what you do, the passion, and you know the way you deal with your students and everything. And so again, we celebrate you. Most of all, we really do.
Thank you.
So, with that said and done, my wife is saying that's your calling. Then we also have Kagar. I hope I didn't butcher that. Kagar Chapman. He said he's proud of you, Most Wanted. Where's he at? Right here.
Oh, thank you, Cager.
Cager. Okay, there we go. What's going on, Cager? Thank you for pressing play and joining the broadcast on tonight. If you're just joining, ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only Juanita Shaw, aka Most Wanted, in the building, and we're going to be talking about the journey there. And boy, I tell you, we would chit chat a little bit as I was getting things sorted out, and I said, "Stop, we gotta just talk about this on the show once we go live," because it was getting real good. And so let's go ahead and get ready to set it up. We're talking about your schooling and your passion for teaching and everything. But I know for a fact that you have some days where you feel like you're just butting your head up against a wall or something. Where does your motorcycle, if at all, play in when you have those kind of days? Is your motorcycle a relief or a getaway?
It is. The weather has been so crazy here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I haven't been able to get out and ride like I really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's my release. I enjoy it. I have fun. And, I can't, there are some other things, like I like to bake. A lot of people don't know that about me. But getting on my bike and saying, okay, I'm just out of here.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good. It feels good. And seeing the country and just being out there, and you get to think and, get to, kind of a meditate type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And, talk to your father and stuff like that. So it's a good place. My motorcycle is a good place for me.
Do you incorporate it at all with your teaching or with your, as an educator to connect with your students?
I do. When I first really start traveling long distance, I would make videos.
Mm-hmm.
And, actually during COVID, I'm going to go back to that. During COVID, a lot of them, I had an Instagram page for my students because we couldn't see each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was all online. And so I was teaching them how to read maps, because I love maps too.
Okay.
Reading maps and using coordinates and things like that. And so I would give them coordinates and they would have to figure out where I was going. So as soon as they would figure out where I was going, then I would show a picture of me, like I went to Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Illinois State Capitol. Went down to Jeff City, to Missouri State Capitol. Different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were not only seeing different places in the country, they were also learning those map skills that they needed.
Nice. One last question, and then we'll jump into the Mission 448, Four Corners of Missouri, that you just completed. If you could not ride, what would happen to Juanita Shaw? What would happen to Most Wanted? If we had to take motorcycling out of the equation, would you still have that radiant smile and still be the person that you are?
I would. I'd still have it. Because I work with children.
Mm-hmm.
That's my other passion. I have a whole bunch of nieces and nephews, and so with all those nieces and nephews, making them feel good and their children feel good. I mean, I'm a great aunt.
Okay.
So there's always children around me. And just making them feel good, it makes me feel good. So I would still have my smile. I don't dance like I used to, but that's what I was known for back
Really?
at home.
Dancing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw you doing your dedication to Piper at the gas station or wherever you was at. I said, look at Most Wanted.
Gas station.
Yeah. You
I was
getting
so tired, but I said I was
Yeah.
going to do that at the end for Piper.
Okay, good. We had the pleasure of catching up with her on her way back from Florida. Just the other week, last week, I think it was. So let's jump into the Mission 448. I think maybe 2 years ago, I think we initiated Mission 448. When you heard about it, what went through your mind and why were you intrigued?
Because you always hear about everybody doing the four corners of the country, but you don't hear about them doing the four corners of each state. And I think on the IBA website, they do something, but it's not really talked about. You know, we talk about the saddle sore and the other, different things, but we don't talk about doing the four corners of each state. So when you came up with that, I was like, oh, I got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that. And, for those who do not know, Cager, he says you're the reason he ride.
Yes. He's from my hometown.
Okay.
And it's a little small town.
Okay.
But,
okay. Small towns matter.
watching-
Small towns matter.
Yes. I still live in one.
Yeah.
He has been watching my page since, I guess I started riding. And he just saw how I, transitioned from just doing a little bit of riding and seeing different things. And he went to school with my brothers and sisters. And so he used to ride, but it was sport bikes and stuff like that. And
Gotcha.
then as he became older, he's decided I can still ride. I want to get out there. And he went and got his credentials and he got him a bike.
Okay.
And I was very proud of him for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So shout out to Cager out there doing his thing. The Mission 448, it was something that we initiated. I think it must have been about maybe 2 years ago, give or take. And it was something that my team, Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, could feel accomplished after doing, right? Because again, like you said, the four corners of the United States, not everyone's going to get out and ride like that. And so we did that, the North Carolina four corners first, and we had a great time. There were a few challenges, and I think the biggest challenge for us was we had too much fun at a couple stops. And so by the time we got to our last corner, it was after midnight, and it just so happened to be, the most mountainous part of North Carolina, which was Murphy. And so that was kind of, it was a little intense. I was leading the pack, and my eyes were in my mirrors the whole time because I wanted to make sure everybody was safe. And so we enjoyed it and had such a good time. Then that's when I was like, you know what? We're going to go for the four corners of the lower 48 states. We talk about Lottie Dottie a lot, right?
Yes.
And so we want the Lottie Dotties of the motorcycle community to be able to say, you know what, I may not go across country, but I can go across my state. And so, because of that, you chose to ride the four corners of your state. Is that correct?
Yes. I plan to do Illinois, but I promised a friend that he could take that ride with me. So I said, well, I'll do Missouri. I was born in the state of Missouri, and that's my home state, as I call it.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So that's your home state. So you didn't think to, you're okay with riding solo the way you did?
I wanted, I had told others about it, but I didn't hear back. And so, I said, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and go.
Yeah.
My spring break is here, and I want to enjoy, as much of it as I possibly can on Tuesdays,
Right.
I said, what a way to start,
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, Most Wanted, she launched out on, was it Friday? It was Friday, right? Saturday morning. And to do the four corners of Missouri. And so go ahead and walk us through it. What was it like get up that morning, get ready to go? Were you anticipating? Were you excited? How were you feeling?
Oh my goodness, I could not sleep. I was so excited about leaving,
Yeah.
and my dad wanted to talk,
Mhm.
so I didn't get to leave. He just turned 91 on the 5th of April,
Happy
and
birthday, Pops.
yeah, I wouldn't. If he wanted to talk, I was going to
Yeah.
sit there and listen.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I left a few hours later than I expected,
Mhm.
but that was okay.
Mhm.
Um, so I went north first. I was going to go south first, but I
Mhm.
found out my librarian was from Charleston,
Okay.
at my school, and she said something about the Azalea Festival. So I said, I'm going to leave that for last.
Okay.
So I went
Okay.
north. I went to Revere.
Uh-huh.
And when I tell you, there's, there's cows, and then there's more cows, and then
Uh-huh.
there's more cows. And then there's some horses, and then there's some more cows, and the smell.
And apparently
Okay.
some tractors from we can see in the picture at least.
Yes. And that was like I was stopping at another point to take a picture,
Mhm.
and I got chased by a dog.
Really?
I didn't think I could move that fast anymore.
So
And I
you
still
had so you had already gotten off your bike to take the picture?
Yeah, I had to run back over to the bike.
Oh
And I
man.
ran around the side of the bike, and the bike was still on. I had it in neutral and on. So
Yeah.
I revved my motor,
Uh-huh.
and it was so loud. The pipes so loud, it scared the dog, and he ran
Yeah.
the other way. And I jumped on my
Wow.
bike, and then I found that little shelter thing,
Uh-huh.
and I said, "Okay, I'm gonna take it."
Oh
And I
my
don't know.
goodness.
I sent you a video,
Uh-huh.
and I said, "I got dogs chasing me." It was a dog standing right there. At that point, I almost jumped again. But he was
Yeah.
just standing there barking at me like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, yeah. So how
Yeah.
big was this dog? We talking a little bitty Chihuahua, we talking big Rottweiler.
No, he wasn't as big as a Rottweiler, but maybe German Shepherd size.
Hey, that's a big dog. That's big enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had more than 3 or 4 teeth, then it's a danger.
Right. I
Oh
was
my
like, "Ooh,
goodness.
I hope the rest of this isn't like this."
Yeah. So
But,
Revere is very it's nothing there, just a little small town.
little small town. Now, if I would have, I got back on the road,
Mhm.
what I had found was the Battle of Athens,
Okay.
and that was the most uh, western part of battle in the war. And I wanted to go there, but it was like 12 miles in the other direction, and I was already behind on time.
Uh-huh.
So I chose not to go,
Yeah.
and with the dog thing and all that, I just said, I need to just get on out there.
Let's get on out
So
of there. Yeah.
it was just a whole lot of small towns. I don't know how much you watched my travels, but I was going 68,
Mhm.
then I went 33, and then I was able to get up to 75 or so, and then I
Yeah.
dropped down to 55, and it was all the way across, and then winds were like 25 miles an hour,
Wow.
and I was holding my bike, and the cows never stopped, and so I don't want to smell another cow for a while.
Right,
That
right,
was
right.
most of the trip, to be
Yeah.
honest,
Wow.
because it was a lot of back roads and
Mhm.
small towns.
So
So
did you
go
get
ahead.
any interstate riding, or was it all back roads?
It was all back roads until I got to I left Andrews. No, I take that back. When I left Rockport and got into Kansas City,
Okay,
uh,
okay,
then I got a little interstate,
okay.
and then same at the bottom. But like I said, I was fighting those winds all the way across the Rockport. On my way at one of the gas stops,
Mhm.
I was kind of scared in a few different places because all I was seeing was, those signs.
Yeah.
Make America great again, and
Uh-huh.
bring it back, and all of that, and the side eyes, people looking at me, and I had on this black jumpsuit and had the collar up and my black helmet
Yeah.
and my black, so you couldn't tell who was in there.
Right,
So
right,
when they were
right.
way over on the tractors, they would look, I would wave.
Yeah.
And then Exactly.
Yeah.
Just keep it going.
And just keep it going. Just keep it going.
Yeah. But at one gas stop, this guy asked me, did I want a beer?
Oh my Lord.
He had two different beers in his hand. And I could tell he is a couple shades to the left himself.
Okay,
He'd already
okay.
had too many himself.
Uh-huh.
And I flipped my helmet, the front of my helmet up, and he was like, "Oh, you're a lady." Lady beer. No, thank you. And I
Oh
was
my
talking on the
goodness.
phone, and I was like, "Just stay on the phone with me till I get out of here."
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But
So
I didn't even bother to go to the restroom there. I waited another 100 miles.
mm, hey, look at here, man. So you had your jumpsuit on and so how was the weather?
It was a little cool.
Okay.
I had just the jumpsuit, and I had a hoodie on and some jeans. So I think when I first started out, I had to put a jacket on also under there. But once it was getting more at midday, I took the jacket off, and I was good just with what I had on underneath the jumpsuit.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So the weather wasn't really a
So
problem. It was bearable.
it was bearable.
Okay.
It was bearable. Nice and sunny. It was
Mhm.
just very, very windy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like I said, the whole trip, I fought wind, you
Mhm.
know. Uh, so we can go on to corner number two.
Well, so was that the only
Okay.
obstacle that you had as far as riding was the was the wind?
Yeah, the
Okay.
wind was the main part of it, the
Okay.
biggest part of it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
um, the back, like I said, back roads are back roads. That wasn't a big deal. It's just, always breaking down. And, I started calling Missouri Kansas Junior because, when you go through Wichita, you're about to get thrown off your bike and you're riding sideways and all
Yeah.
that. That's how I felt in Missouri.
Okay.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't think it was like this up here, but it's nothing up there.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
all the buildings, it's nothing. So, that's how it was. So,
So leaving there on your way to the next corner, what were you anticipating? Were you anticipating more back roads and more of the same?
I did because of the research that I did about
Okay.
each area. I looked them up,
Uh-huh.
but it was nothing in Rockport. If you look on the sign, it says "Proud Past, Bold Future" or something like that on the sign. Welcome
Mhm.
to Rockport, but they must be getting ready to build up things because
Okay.
all I saw was old abandoned businesses on the main street, and it looked like they were really that they used to really thrive in that area,
Okay.
but it's just kind of down now.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah,
So nothing to see there in Rockport.
nothing to see.
I take it you used the restroom gassed up. Were there gas stations along the way when you got to, how were you, looking with that? Were there any scares with that?
Uh, well, as far as when I left Revere, it
Hmm.
was just that incident with the beer. But and people looking at me at the gas station, that kind of thing. Um, so when I went to the third gas stop after, no, the second gas stop after leaving Revere, that's when I, got off the bike. I felt comfortable. It was more open.
Okay.
People going in and out, so I felt comfortable.
Good.
Um, at Rockport, there was a Casey's. There's a lot of Casey's in Missouri. I didn't realize that,
Now,
but
now, what is Casey's?
that's a gas station. And
Okay,
Casey's,
okay.
called Casey's General Store or something like that. And they have the gas station in a little store, that you can go in like a convenience store.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But at that gas station in the middle of Rockport, I didn't go to the restroom there either. I didn't feel comfortable. They were kind of looking at me and stuff like that. And so I just left and I waited until I got to another gas stop that was like big. I actually found the Loves, and I
Okay.
went to that. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So you were looking at from Charleston to well, you hit Revere first and then Rockport, right? So from Revere to Rockport, you were looking at like 240 miles. So you know, you could almost get there on a tank. Well, no, you'd have had to fuel up before you got there.
Well, I did, and
Yeah.
if I got to a half a tank or a little under, I filled up
Yeah.
because I didn't know for sure as
Right,
far as the
right,
gas.
right, right.
That's always, if you're not sure, as soon as you see, a gas stop, or, you get like half a tank
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking, you need to go on and fill up. And
Yeah.
that's just, being safe in the unknown area.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me go ahead and take care of a couple commercial breaks and say what's up to some of these beautiful people that are
Okay.
joining in on the broadcast on tonight. We got Tiffany Nichols in the building. Let's make some noise for her. Thank you for pressing play. Icy in the building. Biker nurse doing her thing. I saw her going all the way across the country and everything too. She's getting some miles in. And we've got the 2025 Titan recipient. Let's make some noise. Tamika Wade, aka Piper, is in the building. She says she loves Casey's, and so yeah. So
Casey's
I'm
is good.
yeah, I'm totally not familiar with them. So I'll have to stop when I come through and do the Missouri Four Corners. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So so at what point did you bed down? Did you call it a night?
Well, I left Rockport
Uh-huh.
and rode through Kansas City, uh, rode on down. I stopped right outside of Joplin in Carthage, Missouri.
Okay.
So I rode until it was 8 o'clock at night when I checked in to the hotel.
Okay, okay. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I was not going down into Anderson to
Mhm.
that third corner until daylight.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Um, The unknown, and with what I had been through with the other two areas,
Right.
uh, I just thought it was best, especially with the unfamiliar. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
and being by yourself too.
yes,
Yeah, I think that was wisdom. That's another beautiful thing about Mission 448. There's no time limit. There's no rush. It's no race. You can make it your own ride, especially in the states where you have major interstates and then you also have back roads. You can choose what you want to do. Some of them, the way it's set up, you don't have a whole lot of choice. It's just secondary roads and everything to get to the different corners and everything. But you can take your time. If you want to take 3 days to do it, you want to take 2 days to do it, whatever. It's just totally up to you. Was there anything that you would do differently if you were to do the ride again, knowing what you know now?
not for Missouri 48. I mean,
Okay.
Four Corners. I would.
Okay. You mentioned earlier that every day we should be learning something. What was it that you learned while doing the Four Corners of Missouri?
Well, people are people are gonna be people.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I knew that, but to have that reality, hit me in the face. So when I got up the next morning to go to Anderson, the
Mhm.
third corner, I flew past the little population sign before I knew it.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, it's far out. So I went further into Anderson, and there was, a little bit of a main street, but then it was a curve and down and around and up. And I was like, ooh, I'm getting deep.
Mm.
And then there was a strip where you see the police department, and I guess it was like a municipal building with the
Mhm.
train station. And that's where I saw the Anderson sign. And
Nice.
so I took a picture there. And a truck rolled up, because I had my helmet up. You could see that I was black.
Yeah.
And he said, "You're a little lost there, ain't you?" And me being quick on my feet.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I just no sir. It's a school project. I'm a principal, and my students challenged me to do something. I told them I would take a ride,
Yeah,
and um, they picked the four corners, four places in the state of Missouri in the corners, and
yeah,
Anderson was one.
yeah,
And so I
yeah,
had to come here to take a picture to show that I've been here.
yeah.
And he just looked at me and kind of did his hat, and he rolled the window up and went on about his business.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, Lord, let me take this picture and then get on out of here.
And
So
boogie.
that's what I, yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah.
oh man.
So
Um
that
yeah.
was one thing that I was nervous about the whole trip.
Yeah.
And, someone saying something to me.
Yeah.
And even though I seen the signs and all that stuff all the way through, it didn't happen. So it's like I kind of let my guard down a little bit because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't feel that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it happened.
Yeah.
And it was like, the tightness, came back.
Mhm. Mhm.
Here I am still fighting all these winds. And, oh, uh, Joplin, they have a lot of tornadoes down there.
Okay.
It's really high winds. Even if it's not tornado time, it's just like I said, it's right next to Kansas. And when I say I had to hold on plenty times coming out of that area. So even in Anderson, so uh, all those corners,
Mhm.
I'm glad that I did it daytime. I'm
Yeah.
glad I waited until morning. I advise anyone to, if they're doing this, to uh, there were hardly no night lights, no street lights,
Mhm.
especially in those back, you know, towns like that. So you definitely, for safety reasons, need to be doing that in the daytime.
Mhm.
You know, going into Anderson. Anderson was the worst as far as like little animal parts. I had to maneuver my bike
Wow.
to not run over
Roadkill.
rabbits. I saw a skunk, a piece
Uh-huh.
of deer, just laying out there. I'm like, there people don't come and clean up this stuff, but I guess they'd be cleaning it all the time if they had to.
Yeah.
But it was scary for me in the daytime, so I can imagine how it is riding through there at night.
At night. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
C1s is watching. He said probably was a sundown town, and
That's the first thing that I thought about.
yeah, unfortunately they still exist. Tamika
That's right.
Piper, she says, "Man, that seems scary. Didn't think Missouri was bad like that." And
Uh, this is they call it Trump country. They say Missouri. They don't say Missouri like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They say Missouri.
So,
So yeah,
if you were to advise anybody, your advice to them would be to get it during the day.
get it during the day.
Yeah.
Um, if possible, don't do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm glad that I had a few people calling and checking on me if I was, you know, uh, still a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of them had to work, so that I couldn't get everybody to call me all the time.
Right.
And then my headset even died at one point.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I just advise the way things are to go during the day
Mm-hmm.
and not do it by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, when passing through a lot of these little towns like that, as Forrest Gump says, you never know what you're gonna get, and
right.
so be careful, keep your head on a swivel, and but I would definitely agree to try to get through. And I'm saying, I think the longest one was Charleston to from Anderson to Charleston, and that was like 340 miles.
Yes.
So, point being, you could knock out two corners like you did before nightfall.
Now, that third corner, when I bedded down, I was only like 25 miles away from Anderson.
Okay.
It's just that it already had gotten dark,
Mm-hmm.
and I said I was going to stop at dusk,
Uh-huh.
and I was just so close to Carthage and Joplin. I said I'm just gonna go on and get there, and so
Yeah.
I did. But I saved that corner for morning, so
Hmm.
that was just a quick hit, and then
And then
I
get it moving.
hit it straight out, kept it moving.
So you finished up in Charleston, correct?
Yes.
So, and of course, you said earlier that that was a choice because you knew they were going to be having a festival. And when I saw that, I said, "Man, that looks pretty nice. That's the way to end a ride." So, talk to us a little bit about that whole experience there, and was it worth everything else that you went through?
It was. I'm trying not to be too emotional about it. It was because when we got there, they had their 5K run going on.
Nice.
The It was an azalea, dogwood azalea flower festival, and they give it every year, and it's known as the one of the best spring flower festivals in America. And
Okay.
so we talked to the police because they were guiding uh, people around the runners, and they
Okay.
told us where to find the other sign because I saw the population sign.
Hmm.
But I went around to the next exit, and then that's where I found the Welcome to Charleston sign, and um, went down into the town looking for the festivities. And when we parked, people were nice bikes, and I asked, where was the festival? Just walk down one block. You're right
Hmm.
there. On one end is all the amusement rides, and on the other end is the food trucks and the booths and stuff. You'll have a good time. And I was like, thank you, you know, and walked through there, and different people were just speaking to you on the street,
Uh huh.
and everybody was enjoying themselves. It wasn't the funny looks.
Right.
Uh, it was black people, white people, and we were all together and having a good time.
Nice.
And that means a lot to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The positive energy, uh, the greetings. People, you speak to them, they speak back.
Yeah.
It was just really, really a good feeling.
Hmm.
You know, Stopping at the booths. What kind of bike you ride? I
Yeah. Yeah.
ride
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Talking to us about their bikes and all that kind of stuff. It was just really, really good. It was really
Completely
good.
different. So let me ask you this, Juanita. The journey there, in life, so often we see signs, we get different behavior from different people, attitude, and whatever you want to call it, and if we're not careful, it will make us want to stop. It will make us sometimes say, what's the use? You know what I mean? But yet still we press. So now you get to the festival, and I know you had the experience where you lost Arya, and Lord knows how that made you feel. How do you deal with things like this on the journey in life, other than just this ride, but in life in general?
I know that everybody's not like that.
Hmm.
You know, I know that, just like, everybody can choose to
Hmm.
be good all the time, but I
Right.
know everybody doesn't make that choice. But there's so many positive people, there's so many good people in the world. Why harp on the negative?
Okay.
I can, you know, I like the positive energy, and I try to give positive energy all the time.
Hmm.
And so I can't, I don't, I try not to let the negative consume me,
Hmm.
because one, it's going to hurt me
Hmm.
uh, inside.
Yep.
But then with it hurting me inside, how am I going to uh, give that positive energy to someone else
Right.
if I'm hurting?
Right.
So I just think of it like that,
And
you
that's a
know?
good way to look at it. It's a real good way to
Yeah.
look at it. It taints your gift. You see,
Mhm.
people can do offensive things, but it's our choice whether or not we're going to be offended by the offense. It was
That's
offensive, but
right.
I choose not to be offended.
That's right.
Because quite frankly, I don't think highly enough of you to, take offense. Because if you're doing something idiotic, then that speaks to your character and not mine's. But I like the way you put it. I like the way you said it. There are good people in this world, and it's always refreshing when we meet them. You have a smile and you have a spirit to you, Juanita, that is precious. And so it is my prayer that none of that stuff that you experience or may experience will hinder that smile. Because, Kirk Franklin said you look better when you smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a smile is almost medicinal in many. Matter of fact, the Bible says that laughter is like medicine to the soul.
So
Yeah.
yes, I'm sorry I'm getting emotional about
That's
that.
all right.
But, I mean, I just want good for everybody, and that's just how I am.
Yeah.
And it's not a put on. If you know me, you know me, and that's me. And I don't want some of the things that I've been through in my life.
Right.
If you don't know me and heard my story, then you wouldn't know, because I'm not gonna give you that type of space. I'm gonna give you that positive space to
Right.
keep you from feeling that pain.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want you to feel good like I feel good.
Yeah.
So that's it just comes natural.
Yeah. When I experience things like that, because Lord knows I've been black 3 times, a black baby, a black boy, and a black man. So you can imagine some of the things that, and I'm not even going to go there, but I do believe that, the weight that men have to deal with is a whole nother level for so many reasons. But I believe that when I go through stuff like that, it's a reminder that I must continue to press. And if not careful, it could suck you in. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you just want to match their energy and just give it right back to them. And I'm not just talking about black versus white, but sometimes it be your own folk.
That's right.
I found out that a lot of people, and I hope no one takes offense what we're saying here, but I found out that a lot of white people, they're a certain way because that's the way they were brought up. That's, lack of better understanding or whatever. And, but it takes someone who is not quick to be offended sometimes to offer them better understanding. The Bible says wisdom is the principal thing, but with all thine getting, get understanding. And sometimes we have to just school people.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, I definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely agree with that.
Juanita, how can we make this world a better place?
You know what? If I really truly knew that, I'd give everybody a bottle of it.
You get everybody a bottle of it. You give everybody a bottle of it.
Yes. But we have to, maybe little by little, just everybody, I leave my messages in the morning to just shine your light on someone else, and maybe that'll brighten up their shine, and they'll shine it on someone else. Just stay positive.
Yeah.
Support each other. No matter who you are, try not to, you having a bad morning, woosah, pray.
Yep.
And make it happen,
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
That's all.
Yeah. So difficulty level for this ride, Mission 448, Four Corners of Missouri, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most difficult, what would you rate it?
10 being the most difficult. I don't think it was really difficult, but the win. I'd say 4.
Okay. That's cool. That's fair.
4. And that's just adding the, like I said, the win, knowing about how the lighting is and when you should do your corners, and for safety reasons, as far as not doing it by yourself. I would give it that 4. You know,
Okay.
because you really, really, you know, I know, not saying guys have this ego thing or anything like that, but you know, guys are, you know, they're, oh, I have to do it by myself. Okay, but ladies, please don't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want you to feel that I felt a little the nerves, you know, and every stop, you know, I was feeling that,
Yeah.
you know, and not having anyone with me. If anything happened to me, as far as, you know, the situations, who would know? You know, yes, you had my Life 360. A few people had my glimpse, but they might not turn my phone off. They might, you know,
Right.
take my phone somewhere else or whatever. I don't know. But I just, you know, I want people to just be safe.
Absolutely. Speaking of safe, any major curves? My wife is asking, were there any major curves? How was the ride in terms of that? I know you had the wind to deal with, but were there curves or was it all pretty straightaways?
It was a lot of, okay, the first part was nice straight. The second going, there's a lot of turns to go to different little towns, you know, trying to wiggle my way across. Then from Rockport to Carthage, it was mostly straight.
Okay.
No major curves or anything like that. And the same with at the going across the bottom that led to the last corner. It was just a little, a few little curves or whatever. Oh, now there is a part where down at the bottom, right before you get into, I guess, Poplar Bluff,
Okay.
Missouri, there's uphill curves. There's uphill curves and going. I had slowed myself down to about 70 with the wind and going into those curves.
Right.
You know, kind of scared myself a few times, but it was overall it was a pretty decent ride as far as
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So a novice, somebody fairly new to riding, you know, they're getting better on their motorcycle. They're not quite ready for cross country. Is it something that they could launch out and do if they took their time?
Yes, they can.
Okay. All right.
Yes, they
And enjoyability level on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
I'd say average. I'd say about 5, 6.
Okay.
Because even though, you know, the smell was terrible, like I
Yeah.
said, most of the time I was just smelling cows. You know, it's like I was immune to it after I got to a certain part.
Yeah.
But I start finding myself saying, "Hey, cow," you know, talking to horses. I see pretty horses and wishing I had a horse, and you know, thinking about childhood memories and
Right.
all that
Because
kind
you
of
did
stuff.
say you were born in Missouri, right?
I was born in Missouri. I was raised in Illinois, right across the bridge, but
Okay.
I lived 25 of my adult years in Missouri, so still over half of my, you know, mostly, yeah,
So when you
almost
were
half of my life.
okay, so what part of Missouri did you grow up in? Where you living
No,
that you were living in?
When I
For your-
lived in Missouri, I lived in St. Louis, unincorporated St. Louis County.
Okay, so so you didn't do much venturing outside of that area. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, I went different places.
Uh-huh.
I even actually visited, like on my way to Revere. I went past Clarksville, Bowling Green, Louisiana, Missouri, little country towns.
Yeah.
But you're talking about some good time and fun people.
Yeah.
You know, they were just over closer to the river off of 79.
Okay.
And I knew if I would have went through there, I was going to end up stopping.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know
yeah.
people there.
Right.
And then I would have been even, further behind on my time.
Okay.
But yeah, and as far as school and all that, I'm from Alton, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated high school in Alton, Illinois, which is, like I said, like 30 minutes from St. Louis.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, Illinois, you still planning on doing that one? You have any
Yes.
other states that you think you might be interested in doing as well?
Actually, yes. I'm waiting on a friend of mine. Actually, as far as Illinois, I'm waiting on a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that met me in Charleston.
Okay.
And he was coming home, and he said make sure that I got home safe, because he knew I was tired from I was fighting all that wind and all that. One of the regulators, E-Money, from one of the regulators from St. Louis,
Okay.
rode with me and turned around, and he rode back to Mississippi.
Yeah.
So that was big for me. So I really appreciate him doing that.
Let's make some noise for him. Yeah, that's what's up.
He wants to do Illinois with me, and so I said I'd wait on him to do that.
Nice.
But if no one does, I know these states in the Midwest are some doozies, but maybe I can find someone to do Iowa.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can. I know the ones that we've been doing. Glad you made it home safe. Yeah, we're definitely glad you made it home safe. The wife and I, she's an educator as well. And so summertime she'll be off. So we're going to head up north, and we're going to knock out most of New England while she's got some time off. But see, those states are small states, so you can knock out 2. Some of the states are so small you can knock out 2 in a day. But that's our plan. And then we got to make our way out Midwest, because those states get a whole lot bigger and a whole lot more, stretched out them little bitty towns.
Right.
And
right.
so
yeah, I miss getting 2 months off. Now this is my first summer that I only get a month off now.
Okay.
My position changed.
Because your position changed. That'll preach right there. There's a word in there somewhere. So anything else that we missed, Juanita, that you wanted to share?
No, not really. I'm planning on going to Alaska. I have resources that have decided to support that trip.
Okay, good.
And so I'm hoping to, I get off work June 20th. So I'm hoping to be packed up and ready to go during that time.
And this will be your first time going?
Yes.
Now, you've already done your 4 corners of the United States, right? You already knocked that out.
No,
I thought you did that already.
No, I only have 2. My bike needed to be serviced, and my safety is more important.
Absolutely.
Than finish that. So when I knocked out 2 of them, when I got back to the middle of the country, I needed tires, and I needed them right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I used my money to get the tires and things taken care of. And it was meant for me to be here anyway. There was a Juneteenth celebration that they wanted me to be a part of, and I made it happen.
That's what's up.
So it was meant for me to be here. Yeah, so I still need to go to Key West, and I need Blaine, Washington.
Okay.
I plan to get those this summer too.
Nice. So Alaska, that's what's up. Now, is that a planned trip? Are you planning to ride that? By yourself?
I'm not planning on it. I'm hoping. I've talked to a couple people that are going, and I'm hoping that my time falls into the time where they're going.
Gotcha. Right.
So that I'm not by myself.
So I did notice that while I was, watching your ride and everything, you was you on a different bike now. Talk about that. Come on now. I said, "Ooh, yeah, look here." So what you riding now? What's going on?
I have a 24 Road Glide.
Come on now.
And I wasn't planning on getting it. But opportunity just fell in my lap. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I call it my retirement bike, but
Okay.
because I'm very close to retirement.
Okay.
When I took my bike in,
Mm-hmm.
I earned my 80,000 mile patch from Harley.
Okay.
And they was like, then they start talking to me about the new bike and what they give me for my old bike. And
Okay.
the deal they gave me, I couldn't pass up. So I said, okay.
Yeah, they got a way of doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I told them they're going to mess around and they're going to get this one back. Because I have so much that I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to have 40,000 miles on it before I know it.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. That's what they make them for, Ride them till the wheels fall off and then put new wheels on them, and keep on riding.
Yeah.
So we definitely...
I want to have it paid for, though, before I, get to, where I can't. I don't know what I'm going to do if, once I get to an age where I can't hold my bike up.
Mm-hmm.
I always talk about that,
Yeah.
I'm still going to ride. I hear a lot of people say things about 3 wheels, but I'm just hoping that by the time I get to 3 wheels that I have done a majority of the things that I am, I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm, making sure that I go different places and I take pictures
Mm-hmm.
and I see the beautiful, things across this country
Yeah.
that we have to see.
Yeah.
I'm taking all my pictures. I have, like I told you, I have 2 twin granddaughters.
Mm-hmm.
And for their 7th birthday, I bought them 2 little motorcycles.
Okay.
And they go about 10 miles an hour. And one of them is really serious about it.
Yeah.
And she was like, when you going to come up and ride with me?
I love
it's so funny. But I'm taking all my pictures and I'm making a chat book.
Okay.
And in that chat book, it'll be all my pictures, but I'm putting quotes for them to inspire them as they become, teenagers.
That's beautiful.
To see what their grandmother, the messages that their grandmother has left for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. That's what's up. Something like that could last for generations and generations, man.
Right.
And so like you said, learning is required, and I think a lot of things it must be intentional, especially if we want it to work and have the results that we want to get. It's got to be intentional.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm doing it with children at the school,
Mm-hmm.
so I have to give my own
Absolutely
a piece of that too.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, as always, it was a pleasure chatting with you. Speaking about being intentional, I always ask my viewers, leave us with a word of advice, whether it was some great advice you received in life or just something, just hit us with a word of advice.
A word of advice. I'd say just, be unapologetic about your happiness. Don't allow anyone to steal your joy and be unhappy. If it's something that makes you feel good to your soul, do it. Don't let no one steal that away from you. And live life. Yeah.
And live life. That's good advice. Thank you very much. I mean, look here, man. I'm a sponge. I'm a sponge at work, and I will forever be a student. And so I thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for that word of advice. And thank you for being a supporter of the Retro Philosophy Show, more specifically Mission 448. And we're looking forward to following some of your future rides. And we got to talk delivery, because I've been doing my best to hand deliver these patches. And unless you want your patch right now, then I'll put it in the mail. But if you have a little time and you have a little patience, I would love to schedule a time to, get up to your neck of the woods and hand deliver it. So
that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. And it might, depending on the timing, I might come down there.
You just let me know. We can make it happen now.
Okay.
All them cows you had to ride by, at least buy you a part of the cow when you get down here. How about that? We get a burger or something,
Yeah.
Some cow feet or something, we'll feed you and all that good stuff.
Okay.
But we'll stay in touch. I am going to be I'm going to be doing some riding coming up, but it's taking me up north, not necessarily out your way. I'm gonna get together with the wife, and we may just make some time and make it happen. But we'll definitely be in touch and talk about that delivery time. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm trying to see if I can get out of here Wednesday for the East Coast, and I'm watching the weather.
Yeah.
Making sure that the rain is gone.
Yeah. And what part of the East Coast you said you're going to?
Well, I'm starting in Baltimore.
Really?
I have to go to I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan,
Uh-huh.
and so I want to go to the stadium on my bike. I've been there.
Now, when are you planning on doing that? When are you planning on going?
I'm leaving Wednesday.
I'm gonna be leaving out on Friday, I think the 2nd, heading up to Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, how long are you gonna be out?
Until Sunday. The plan is, to go to Niagara Falls.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be a beautiful ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just a week off though.
This is my spring break.
Right. Make it do what it do.
So,
Yeah.
And use every bit of it.
I know that's right, girl. You work hard. You deserve to have some time to just enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, let's make some noise for Juanita Shaw, a.k.a. Most Wanted. And you are a beautiful soul, sis. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, ma'am. We'll talk with you soon.
Okay.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, man. Juanita Shaw, good people. Look at here, man. I don't know a whole lot, but I know good people when I see good people. And it has been a blessing, and it has been refreshing, just knowing her, talking with her, experiencing, her rides and everything. And I'm just really excited about what the Lord is doing in this season of my life. And hopefully you are experiencing the same thing. Cager, God bless you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Life is short. Make the most of it while we can. I know that's right. Let's make some noise for that right there. Because that is real talk right there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are interested in riding the four corners of your state, Mission 448 is for you. We have a registration link. If you're interested in that, inbox me, let me know, even if you want to just say something in the comment section, and we will get you that link. And again, this is for all of the lower 48 states. Let's see here. What else do I need to tell you about it? Some of the states, as Juanita was sharing with us, you are going to have those little small towns that you're going to go through. So please, kind of do a little research and plan accordingly. Safety first and first safety. And if at all possible, pair up, go with a partner. So that way you're not out there all by yourself. Even if something that was unforeseen, like, motorcycle mishap or whatever, and you break down, the last thing you want to do is be out there in some deserted, town or whatever. And you say, well, my bike is brand new. Even brand new bikes break down. So we got to be careful and plan accordingly. But again, as Cager said, life is short. Make the most of it while you can. Take the trip, get the bike, get out there and enjoy it. When I come down to my last days, and who knows when that is, I don't want to say I wish I would have. I want to be able to say, at least I did, and so, Mission 448. My question is, who's going to be the first to collect the four corners of each of the lower 48 states? This is what I consider to be a grassroots movement. I am doing a lot of work on this program. To try to, make sure it has, integrity to it and everything. I'm really grateful for those who are registering and taking the ride. I got a phone call from Highway Dre. Let's make some noise for him. said, man, I'm gonna be passing through your hood, man. I'm just calling to get permission. I said, this guy is crazy, man, you know. But of course, I dropped everything and tracked them down and rode with them for a short time earlier today. But I bring that up to say this: those gentlemen, Tin Man, T-Rock, and there was about maybe 4 other old school street soldiers. They, matter of fact, they were literally the first group outside of Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry to do the Mission 448. Well, actually, the North Carolina Four Corners, which is, you know, part of Mission 448. And so I was extremely appreciative for that. And I never forget, we were standing there as we were completing the NC Four Corners. They met us in Rocky Mount, and Tin Man, myself, Highway Dre, T-Rock, Old School, the rest of our team, Kingdom Alignment. We're all there at the gas station, just really having a good time. And Tin Man looks at me and he says, "This is a movement." And when he said it, it just had so much depth to it, you know. And so they registered I think all 7 of them. They registered and they did it. Kodak registered, did it, and so many others. I don't really want to start calling names, but I is anyway, because I'm appreciative of those who have been supporting this the program. Worldwide Riders, they had multiple chapters to ride it, and they all came together to do the Georgia Four Corners, and they're going to be doing the Maryland Four Corners as well, because they have a chapter up there. But the Street Soldiers, Soldiers United, I can't tell you how many of them have come through to support the movement. The Maryland chapter, the Georgia chapter, of course the North Carolina chapter, you know. And so we're waiting for you. Hashtag who's got next. We hop up and we do this, that, and the other, and that's cool, but don't forget about your boy, you know what I mean? Go ahead and register. It's not going to break the bank. It's a ride that is definitely enjoyable, and it'll take you to parts of your state that normally you would even probably, you know, go to or go through. So you can definitely, you know, have a good time while doing it. Georgia Four Corners, yeah, it was really nice, man. We did it in December, and early part of December, and so it was a little brisk in the morning, but it certainly did warm up. And and so there's again, who's going to be the first to get the four corners of each of the lower 48 states. We're working on something big for whoever it is, something very celebratory, and so we'll continue to work on that. We're also going to continue to try to tweak the program. When you register, there is a question, and that question is, do you want to be an ambassador for the program? And so the ambassadors will help us ensure that these patches can be delivered by hand versus the mail. So if you are in let's say Missouri, and you choose yes, you would like to be a ambassador, and someone else comes through Missouri and does the Missouri Four Corners, instead of dropping in the mail, you as an ambassador will have the patch, and you'll be able to you know, choreograph it, set it up where you can meet with them, and that way they can get their patch in hand versus through the mail. So if you are going to register and you see that question, would you like to be an ambassador? That's what that's all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, without any further ado, I'm going to do something that the devil won't do and leave you alone. Yeah, I'm going to leave you alone because it's time for me to go to bed, okay? Again, thank you to everybody for pressing play and joining the broadcast on tonight. We certainly do appreciate you. Look at here, man. The good weather is here, man. It was like 80-some degrees today here in the Carolinas, and I saw a whole bunch of motorcycles. So y'all get out there, enjoy your ride, be safe, and make sure you register for the Mission 448 Four Corners of your state, all right? It's your boy Retro, and let's see here. Yeah, we out of here.
We have a community that we have to take care of. We have kids that are depending on us. I call them my scholars. I call them my future leaders, because that's what they are. And I let them know, don't forget about where you were raised. Be proud of where you come from and give back. It seems more family in Riverview Gardens. It would just be wonderful to get some people to get some of those jobs and help us get these scholars where they need to be. There's a new view on the horizon where learning is required.
Gotta find the Retro Philosophy Show. Let's get ready to go live. Can't miss an episode.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.
Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. It's your boy Retro. Let you know that registration for Mission 448 is open. You can register today and ride the four corners of your state or multiple states. Who's going to be the first to collect the four corners of each of the lower 48 states? Hashtag Who's Got Next. Register today and ride the four corners of your state.
Going on over here? Talk to me. What we got going on?
We got the Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry Four Corners runs. Andre, Highway Dre.
Highway Dre
has completed not only North Carolina,
Yes, sir.
but he went on and did South Carolina. Just because he was in the vicinity.
That's right.
It got so nice to him, he wanted to get where it was a little bit warmer, so he went on down to get him a few oranges. And a slice of key lime pie down in Florida.
I did.
But he also stopped by to get some peach cobbler while he was in the area. So he went to Georgia and did the Four Corners there as well.
Oh, my word.
So, Highway Dre, we love you, bro. Appreciate you.
Hey, look. Let me tell you why I do this.
Okay.
Why do you? Wait. I got a question. Why do you do this?
Why do you tell them why you do it?
Because I can.
Because I can.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have here with us the Studs and Stilettos. Not Studs and Stilettos, but Studs and Stilettos.
That's a different show.
That's a different show.
That could be wild.
that could be wild, you know? But they came all the way down from Tennessee and to do the NC Four Corners. It's been a pleasure even preparing for the ride, talking with them, and an even greater pleasure to have the privilege to ride with them. For this portion of the trip, we caught them in Statesville and rode them up to the last corner, which is here in Sparta, as you can see in the background, Sparta Town Hall. Yes, indeed. We made it. So any highlights, anything that anybody wanted to talk about as far as the highlight for the trip for everybody maybe?
The beach.
The lunch at Oceanic.
Oh,
and
yeah, that was
the south side of
that was nice.
Beautiful weather.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
When you guys said you were,
lucked
when you guys said you was launching, I looked at the weather. I said, man, you guys couldn't have picked a better day.
Right?
Yeah.
It turned out perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Today's the best day.
Yeah.
Today's the best day.
And so from here, will you guys hang out a little bit, or you headed straight back to Tennessee?
Back to Tennessee.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Back to Knoxville.
Yep.
So we have the patches here. You guys can come get yours. Who's next? Let's know in the comment section. There you are, sir.
Your bike is leaking, buddy. Your bike was leaking.
I don't know, but every time you stop, they will leave a little put about that, about YB. Hard to break bad habits.
Yeah, you seem like as a normal rider, I do that even though.
Hey now, this is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO, home of the Moto Mob where legends are made. You are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what to do. Press play.